Hello there, welcome back. This is Ben Berlin with Berlin Enterprises, your one-stop shop for real estate investing needs. We buy houses, we sell houses, we rehab them. We have them in various stages of rehab that we'll sell to you. Uh, I will train you personally how to do this. We are a wealth creation company and we teach you how to live your life on purpose and get free of your job and live the way you always dreamed of living. So that's what we do here. So in my course that I'm offering now to the public, I'm for the first time putting this on video as I'm doing right now. And I'm just gonna do these real-time live. I'm not gonna do any editing of the video. I have my notes in front of me here, just as if I was sitting with you one-on-one and we were going through this together. The only thing is of course you're not sitting here asking questions for me to answer. So we're going to cover most of the material that I cover with my students one-on-one. I think you're going to have a lot of fun. Please follow the recommendations that I give you. I give you additional reading materials and books to pick up. I give you other resources that I've developed, spreadsheets and things that will be very useful in your real estate investing career. Once we get to know each other a little bit better, I encourage you to email me with questions. You can even call me on the phone. I always try to make as much time as possible for all of my students and my associates. I think we're going to have a lot of fun together. Another thing I'd like to mention is I am involved in several other side businesses that have been very lucrative for me that I'd be more than happy to share with some of my closest associates. So this is going to be an overview of the course. I did post up online on Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, and Instagram. I did post up the syllabus for the course. So I encourage you to take a look at that. You can find me on Facebook, Berlin Enterprises, on Instagram. I think that's Ben Berlin. I think if you do a search for Berlin Enterprises, it will come up. Twitter is, again, you can do a search for Berlin Enterprises. I think I'm at Berlin LLC on that one, or Berlin Ent LLC on that one. LinkedIn, you can do a search for either the business name or my personal name, and I'll come up. So check out the syllabus there, and I guess the first thing that we're going to do, the first step, I'll go over the syllabus quickly. The first step is mindset changes and self-development. And everybody wants to know immediately, just tell me how to find a deal, and you know, and I want to do a deal immediately, and that's great, and you will get doing deals soon. But first we have to focus on the mindset, because it all starts with the mindset. You have to have kind of an awakening. I remember distinctly to this day, I can credit actually a lot of my awakening to my excellent friend and mentor, Jim Winchell. He's an incredible guy, a very smart real estate investor, and he really gave me that awakening. In fact, he was the fellow that I bought my first investment property off of. He had just gotten into it. My wife and I moved into a 4-unit building, ended up buying it off of Jim. He made money, I made money, I still own the building to this day. Fun story, but we'll get into a little bit more of that later. But it all starts with a mindset change. So I dedicate a good bit of time to this. I'd like to mention that these videos too, I'm only doing them in maybe 5 to 10 minute increments. Whereas when if you sign up for the program, we sit down one-on-one, we might spend an hour to 2 hours together at each setting and do that, 10 to 20 times or so. It ends up being a 20-hour or so intensive one-on-one course. That's just what we're together. I would expect you to spend at least, and you've got to dedicate at least 5 hours a week of true dedicated effort on your real estate investing endeavors. I worked 50 hours a week when I first started this. I did real estate stuff in the morning. I did it in the evening. I was so passionate and dedicated and excited about it that I knew that it was going to give me a freedom that I have to this day. It's unbelievable. When you work for yourself, you're not tied to a job or just over broke. You're not tied to that. You're free, and it is an incredible feeling to work for yourself. It takes dedication. It's a different. It's just a different way of thinking. But at any rate, I worked very hard in my spare time to get to the point where I could quit my job, and it was only about 2.5 years into this that I was able to quit my job. And so at that time, I mean, I was making, not very much at my other job, maybe $35,000 a year or something. So it wasn't a whole lot of money that I had to make up to move into real estate investing. But you may be in a situation where you're in a very good, very well-paying job. I can see how it could be a little bit more difficult for maybe, some of you, whatever, line of work you might be in, that you're making good money, you're tied up, you don't have much time, but it can be done. It's all in how bad you want it. And I want to be a mentor to you. Everybody needs a good mentor. I've had Robert Kiyosaki, Marshall Silver, Dean Graziosi, Peter Conti. Those are all some of my early mentors that I really looked up to and read. But I think everybody needs a personal mentor that they can see face to face to keep you motivated, to keep you on track. And hopefully I can be that to you. I still encourage you to have somebody in person. Maybe you can find somebody in person, that lives near you or that's in your field. You have to make those connections. You always have to think about how you can benefit them, though, because it's never if you just take from a mentor. It's got to be a two-way street. But I guess if you're paying for a mentor, it's a little bit different story. But if you just need a local mentor that is where you want to be, you have to think about how you can benefit the other person. And that's just a lesson in life that you always should have. But okay, back to the syllabus. I get off track a little bit sometimes, get used to it. Part 2 is business basics. So I split business basics into 2 parts. We do a part 1. We talk about basically just how to set up your business, because if you just start getting into real estate investing and pay no heed to how you have your business set up, you're gonna run into problems down the road. So it's best to have the business end of it set up first, and then it's easier to grow and scale upon that. So we talk about a lot of things here. I spend a couple hours on this on the one-on-one time. Of course, this is going to be a little bit condensed in the video series. I'm not going to be able to really show you some of the stuff. I'll do my best to show you some of it, but it's going to be a little more tricky to do it on the video. Then we go to business basics part 2. We talk about basically your business name and your branding and what you are trying to convey to the public. Business basics part 3. This is where we get into a little bit of asset protection and how to structure your entities. Business basics part 4. This gets into kind of some more what some people consider to be more fun part, to show you how to analyze deals. And again, I'll do my best to show you that through video. And then we get into part 3 of the syllabus. It's finding deals, and I break that into a couple parts too. So we have finding deals part 1, then we have finding deals part 2, and finding deals part 3. It gets a little more advanced at each step. I give you some tips and tricks on how to find deals. And then we go to part 4, which is once you find a deal. I split this up into a couple parts. So, basically, you find a deal. First thing you need to do is make the offer. So I tell you all about the offer, how to negotiate, how to get a favorable price. I tell you all about that. There's a ton of dynamite stuff in there. And then part 2 of this is after the offer is accepted. Then what? What do you do then? Then we go into part 5, which is funding deals. How to find funding for deals. 3 F's of real estate: finding deals, funding deals, and farming deals. Farming would be your exit on the deal. So part 5 is funding deals. So you got to find funding for it. Part 6, once you've funded a deal. Part 6 is once you've funded a deal. Then what? Part 7, farming deals. Part 8, and once you've farmed a deal, then what? Tell you everything to do. And then part 9, we get into types of deals, pros and cons to different deal types. There's 1,000 different deal types. We'll touch on some of the main ones. You're going to like some, you're going to not like some. I encourage you to try a lot of them. And then part 2 of the part 9 is also types of deals, but this goes into basically the different techniques that you have as far as acquiring different types of deals and farming different types of deals. Then we get into a little bit of other investing, some other investing strategies, not even really real estate related, that have actually done relatively well for me. So we'll talk about those. And then part 10, we button up some loose ends. This is kind of a question and answer session. I'll encourage you to, write your questions under the videos. I'll be absolutely happy to get back to you. I'm always available via email and phone at any time. So this is pretty fun. It's I can honestly, I guarantee you in this that, and I guarantee all my students the same thing, that if you truly do what I say, you will succeed. That's all there is to it. I charge $5,000 to do this course one-on-one, and literally by the time people are even halfway through it, they've always made their investment back, plus 2 times, 3 times, 10 times. I mean, literally one deal. There have been times I've done a deal, I've had maybe a few hours into acquiring a deal, I've put a tenant in it and gotten $3,000 to $5,000 over the course of a couple months, and then that tenant bought it for a $60,000 profit for me. I literally have had 8 hours into the deal, maybe, for a $60,000 profit. That was one of the better ones, but there have been many that have been very close to that. You can see that, quit thinking in terms of an hourly wage, think more in terms of the value that you can create. So if you do translate it into an hourly wage, that would have been how many, $5,000 an hour or $6,000 an hour, I don't know, whatever the math works out to be there, which is of course very good. So you always have to strive for thinking about that, what your time is worth. If you want to make $1 million in 1 year, a nice goal that a lot of people want to shoot for, then what does that translate to? That translates to $500 an hour based on a 40-hour work week. So everything that you're doing, you have to think about what's the highest and best use of your time. You can't immediately transition over to making $500 an hour or everything that you do be worth $500 an hour, but you always have to think of what's the highest and best use of your time. So getting a little off tangent again, what we're going to talk about next time, I did want to go over the syllabus with you so you know what to expect. It's going to be a lot of fun. It really is. I mean, this is exciting stuff. I get stoked just teaching about it. I do. I love it because I love to see the results of my students. I love to get people out of a job. I love to see, it's a very, very exciting thing. And my hope is to grow together and become, long-term relationships with all of you folks. It's what I love to do. It's what I love. So I don't think I'm going to talk about the part 1 yet, because I think this video is pretty much at the limit of how long I want to go each time. I want to keep your focus. So next time I will talk about part 1, mindset changes and self-development. And I'm going to break that into several different sections because this is a good one. There's a lot of real good material that I want to talk about on that one. So, all right, folks, until next time, I can't wait to talk to you again. I look forward to meeting each and every one of you. And here is to your success, friends. Have an incredible day.